Brentocast, episode 31. Now, what you're hearing in the background is my Monday morning ritual whereby I cruise down to Baden Coffee on Falls Road in Baden, get my cup of whatever. Usually it's a cappuccino, some espresso, that's the norm. Occasionally I get espresso. But I like to sit down there. Sometimes I sit inside. Sometimes I sit outside when the weather's so nice. Now, there's a ton of bird song going on Falls Road in Baden, which you can hear in this little soundscape playing behind me. But, who knows what you'll see. You might see some deer. On the occasion of this particular Monday that the soundscape is recorded on, there is unfortunately a fresh roadkill of a young buck which had gotten hit just at the intersection of what road is that? It's not 2427. The road that comes from Albemarle and then Falls Road, right there at Alcoa. Someone had apparently just hit one, and it was there. It had a pretty good sized rack on it too. So you always see tons of deer in Baden, and I knew it was a matter of time before one got hit. Yeah, unfortunately that had happened that day, but otherwise it was a beautiful morning, and like to hang out there, have my coffee. And I tried actually remote recording these episodes there, but folks in Baden are very friendly, and usually they see you there. It doesn't matter if you're talking to your phone or not. They'll walk up and say, "Hey, how's it going?" So that happened like twice when I was sitting there thinking of starting out my Brentocast with my orange and my cup of cappuccino. Baden Coffee has the best cappuccino that I've ever had. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I do enjoy a really well-made cappuccino, and they have one. So that is my go-to. And of course, now I am on this new adventure. I was thinking the other day, of course, I'm always trying to lose weight, and I was thinking the other day, I have not had a carbonated drink in over 2 years, and I am beyond really wanting that beverage now, and it tends to bloat my stomach, and just, I'm heavy anyway. But why be heavier, right? So I thought, now it's finally, I'm 53 now. I'm going to be 54 in November. And this is time, in the time of my life where I needed to stop eating regular bread. And fortunately for me, there are a lot of gluten-free options. I don't eat a ton of bread anyway, so it's another one of those small measures that I think just moves the needle in the right direction for trying to lean down. And back in the day I always said if I'm X amount over at X age, I'm going to go get the stomach stapling. Of all the people that I know, I had one friend that truly saved his life. Everyone else has had problems, and being a nutrition store where people come for nutrition and shakes and things like that post-op, man, we have seen so many people who died early as a result of that surgery because, you lose weight if you don't eat anything, but you also don't have the nutrition that it takes for your heart to be healthy. So, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of people die that had that surgery. So, I'm not going to be having that. I guess I'll just be fat or find another way. But anyway, I digress. Those are my thoughts on the gastric bypass surgery. I'm talking about the one where they actually reroute your organs and take out sections of your stomach. I don't know I've got mixed feelings about the other one. I know we have had people that have passed away as a result of the lap band as well. So, I don't know if the fact checkers are going to try to censor me on this, but unfortunately, I'm not posting this on Facebook. But I digress. Anyway, what's been going on? Well, I had kind of hinted that we might be doing an episode from the beach, but I wanted to just recap that adventure at the beach for you because I did not get a chance to post an episode from the beach. But I'll tell you what, we did go down. Let me look at the date here so I can get my ducks in a row on that. So we left on February the 11th at 3 o'clock. Summer and her boyfriend Patrick were already down there at North Myrtle Beach, and we decided to surprise them. So we left at 3 o'clock. Now, they had been down there since Wednesday, so they had no idea we were coming. And just as we get there, they're actually going into the building, and Nancy, of course, whooped real big like she does when she's excited. Whoop! And Summer heard her voice and turned around, so it wasn't the surprise that I had planned, but it did surprise them. And she definitely hit us with resting bitch face real hard. And I was like, whoa, because they thought we were going to stay with them. And, of course, we were not. We had planned to stay 2 doors down the street at the Grand Cayman Hotel, which is known for having 10 different swimming pools and a lazy river, which it was all about a get away with Delilah and just surprising Summer. So we had a bit of a, like short time, but after recently having driven to Ohio and back, in 3 days, which is, with rest stops and whatnot and eating, it's like 10 hours driving or, 10 hours to get there. So that made the 3-hour trip not seem so bad. And honestly, like the psychology of driving is a crazy thing because, it did not bother me. I literally got tired about the time we hit Myrtle Beach. I didn't really get tired in the lower back until then. So I don't know if it was just part of my mentality that, we weren't going to, it wasn't going to be a long trip like the Ohio trip, so no need to worry about it. And on the Ohio trip, I didn't have any trouble either because I just kept going, I'm going to drive till I get tired and then we're going to stop for 30 minutes, So I was driving 2.5 hours at a time and stopping for 20, 30 minutes, and I didn't have any problems. So I digress. We get there, and so I gather that they had spent all their money and they were just going to like be eating out of like grocery bags in the condo for the last night and then go home the next day. So I said, no, we'll take you out. So we went and had finally found a place that was open. The hotel had a nice restaurant, but I guess somebody had gotten sick, so it was closed. And we were checking in, and there were a lot of people there for a Saturday night in February, I thought. And we go to the pool, and it's just full of people and kids. So we're like, oh, no. And I was instantly like, I don't want to get in here with all these people. And because I'm fat, like I ain't trying to like show people this well blubber. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, I just have to like, bite the bullet and not think about it. But I don't like doing that, even for Delilah, it's a stretch, but I will when I have to. But anyway, so we, Summer and Patrick come over and we give them the bands. They take Delilah swimming. She swims for about an hour. Then she comes back and conks out, because it's been a long day. And she did not go to sleep all the way down there, which is crazy. Usually she will. But anyway, she had a great time. They had a good time. After we did eat for like an hour and a half before we did that, and then they did that. So the swimming. So that put us at about like 11:50 or whatever when Delilah was finally getting to go to sleep. But had a great night's sleep. The rooms are bigger than expected. My only exposure to that area, the condo we stay is in something called like North Shore Tower, and there's a hotel. Part of that was sold off to a hotel, I gather, and that hotel, it's one of those that sits right on the water, and unfortunately it gets a lot of water in there, so there's a certain smell that you associate with that, and I always feel like it's a little unclean. And I will say with the I'm talking about the hotel, not the North Shore condo where we stay, but like the one a couple over from it. Well, it's actually kind of like just the next one over. But it's the design of it, I think, just is not great. The restaurants sort of lead into these internal hallways when the water comes in, the moisture comes in, and it doesn't go out. Grand Cayman was a different design. It's designed to have all of the corridors outside, so they are wet, but they are not like wet and moldy. So there's the difference, And anyway, we go in there, and I'm thinking, it's a different place, but it's really busy. But the good news is that was, people were going to leave and go home early Sunday morning, and that's exactly what happened. By like 10 o'clock Sunday morning, everything was like groovy. But we get up early for the complimentary breakfast, and the complimentary breakfast was knockout. We woke Delilah up. She, of course, didn't want to get up that early, but we took her in there, and she had Fruit Loops and milk. We had like eggs, turkey bacon, eggs, bacon, and turkey sausage, I think. They had eggs and grits, and I didn't have any of the grits. And they had really delicious, like stewed apples with cinnamon. That was awesome. What else? Orange juice, cranberry juice on tap, unsweetened tea. It was good. It was really good. Free, And so let me talk about the price real quick. So I was a little shocked when we tried to book this room, like a day or two before we were going. They were like, we have a policy, this time of year, on the weekend you have to book at least 2 nights. And I was like, but we're just staying one night. And they're like, because we were planning on coming home Sunday. They're like, no, it's this package. You kind of got to pay for 2 nights. But then we found out the rooms were only $100 a night. So all told, I think we were out for $225 exactly. And that included 4 free meals. So we weren't able to give away the other 2 because we weren't staying Monday morning late enough, because breakfast starts, I think, like at 6 or 7 or something, and we were leaving by 5. But we were going to hand that off to Summer and Patrick, but we couldn't get them over there. They slept in there last day and never came back over to take Delilah and do anything else. So it ended up being me and Delilah's day. We went to the mini golf on the 5th floor. It was totally drenched because it had been raining the night before, but she gets all her only pair of socks wet. And I will say, we did not bring her bathing suit. I thought we were going to be able to pick one up at the Dollar General. We get down there, the Dollar General has no kid bathing suits. So she ends up going out bathing. Both times she ends up swimming in like a big full like dress shirt thing and pants. But whatever. I mean, she didn't know that she wasn't in the right attire. She had a great time. So anyway, she and I, while we're up on the, I initially did not want to get in the pool because in my mind I was seeing it full with people like it was the Saturday night. Well, I realized that the next day wouldn't be as crowded. And when I'm up there on top of a smaller building on the 5th floor on the putt-putt golf, I look down and I see the ginormous outdoor pool, and it was really impressive because it has like a tiki bar out there. It's big. It was really almost Olympic size, and nobody was in it. One person was laying out there in the chair. I said, hey, we can do that. So I went and got Delilah sorted out back in the room and trying to get Nancy woke up, and we ended up going out there and jumping in that cold pool. Now, it was technically heated, but barely. And then there was also a jacuzzi out there. It also technically heated, but not, just slightly warmer than the big pool. But we did that for an hour and a half waiting on Nancy, and finally I go into the through the other pools to go back inside, and Nancy's in there in a jacuzzi. So we spent another, I want to say, 2 hours in that pool in Lazy River, and we did it all. And Delilah just absolutely loved it. They had like these umbrellas that sprinkle water down, and all kinds of jacuzzis and wade-in pools. It was really cool. While the cleanliness was not what I would have wanted, it definitely, they paid attention to it because there was a lot of bleach, and at least with that, you're not going to pick up psoriasis or any kind of nasty communicable skin disease. You might feel a little crappy from the bleach, which we all did. I think all of us kind of had a little cough when we came back, but they had 2 jacuzzis, one of which was boiling, and when I say hot, it was like the hottest bath you can stand hot. And I did that one a couple times, did the Lazy River a few times. That was my first time in the Lazy River, which I liked it, but it was only like, it's supposed to be 3 feet tall. I think it was slightly less than that, so it was banging the knees the whole time. But Delilah, it was perfect. They had inner tubes, and she just kept throwing inner tubes in and just having a great old time. So we go up to the room, and then we're thinking, well, we got to sort out dinner for tonight, and then we'll just spend the rest of the evening in the room, go to bed early, get up in the morning, and leave by 5. Well, of course, we get back to the room, and we're all actually tuckered. I actually did a lot more like just physical exercise. I mean, I've really fallen off of my walking and stuff, although I have started back this week. I hadn't been doing that for a while, and I was tired, and I got to the room, and then Nancy had brought Delilah some gluten-free Girl Scout cookies, and she had those, and they both just sat there and ate those and watched SpongeBob until Delilah completely went to sleep, and then Nancy goes to sleep, and then I go to sleep. And I think, man, 2.5 hour nap in the afternoon is not a bad way to spend your time at the beach. It had rained the first evening, but the next day sort of cleared up a little bit, and we could have went outside to the beach. I never made it actually to the beach, but we got that 2.5 hour nap. They actually slept 3 hours. I got up and started writing my blog. So I tried to blog the whole trip. If you look on BrentBowers.com, I'm going to just check this as I tell you. There is a blog, actually on the left-hand side, the most recent entry. Yeah, you do have to click on it because it loads my weekly vlog, but there's a Beach Blog Saturday. If you click on that, you get a play-by-play of the whole weekend. It's 2 full pages, and it just covers every single thing we did, if you're so inclined and interested in how that particular vacation went. Anywho, they sleep 3 hours. We wake up, and all we really have to do is go get a meal. So we decide we're going to go to the Red Lobster. Now, down there at the beach, you can spend a lot of money on the ocean side of the inlet at North Myrtle. You can spend a lot of money on food. Like, it's not unheard of for meals to be $55 a person. I didn't want to do that because this was a budget weekend. We wanted to really keep it low because we've already prepaid for a vacation that we kind of have to take in March. So anyway, we decided we're going to go to the Red Lobster. In the past, we've went to the Red Lobster over near the shopping area, but in this case, we were going to go to the one right there like we're at like 76th Avenue, and this would have been down like at the opposite end of that strand. So like almost where you turn to kind of come on the interstate back home. But we go down to that one, and there's maybe 2 cars in there. We get there. One of our favorite places to eat low country boil and crabs and stuff, lobster and crab, is a place called Tasty Crab. And I said, I had actually had a camera on. You can see it on the video. And I said, Delilah, where are we at? She goes, we're at Tasty Lobster. It was super cute, you know. But we go inside, and we happen to have a pretty cool waiter. And then I think, as it turns out, the other waitress was his girlfriend and whatnot. And at some point, we start talking about Japan. And I said we lived there. And he asked me about it. And so they're just like enthralled by my Japan stories. And they're being really nice to Delilah. He went and got a lobster out for her to like touch and stuff. So it was just a good time. And she ate really well because she tends to she nibbles through the day. And then when she gets really hungry, she's down to eat a full meal. And that's kind of where we were at. And she had, I believe, mac and cheese, broccoli. And then she wanted ice cream. We typically don't give her that, but we knew she was going to go to sleep just because of the hour and how much we had done that day. So she got ice cream, chocolate cake, which is crazy. I don't know how that happened. Usually we would have shot that down, but she was just being super sweet. And we had gotten her some stuffed animals, which she was just, hanging on to. And just, man, this is the good stuff. This is the part of life that you really want to get to. I love my wife. I love my kids. But the granddaughter, it's on a different level. It's like the purest affinity and like true love for a human being that I've ever had. Like, I really, truly do put her happiness way ahead of my own. And, that is the essence of love, right? For those of you without grandkids, I hope that you're blessed with them someday. Because it's amazing, and I would not have wanted to miss it. I don't know that I'll ever have another one, but if I do, I will welcome it with open arms because, the 3.5 years with her have been amazing. Life-changing even. But I digress. Anyway, we get her back to the room, and the plan I had in my mind was for us to watch the cartoon channel there and just, fall asleep. Unfortunately, the chocolate cake and ice cream starts hitting, and I think we ended the night with Nancy deciding we were just going to drive home, and I was like, well, that's not happening. We made a plan. We're going to stick to the plan. We paid for 2 nights. We're going to be here. If it ain't 3 hours sleep, I'm taking it because I got 5 massages tomorrow, and I'm not doing that on no sleep. So she finally, after jumping on the bed a bit, she finally crashed out. It's funny because Nancy and I slept we were each took one of those beds, and usually Delilah would be like, she sleeps with me every time, but like this time she passed out when like the sugar was gone. She's just like like a robot, and she just goes to sleep right there in Nancy's bed. And finally I did get to go to sleep, so I think I slept from about 11 till about 4:30. I woke up knowing that we needed to leave by 5 to be at work on time. And got my little shower and started loading up, and then woke them up like maybe 10 minutes till we had to go. So I had them in the car, pulled downstairs, and it's looking like we're going to make it. And Nancy's like, can you take one more picture of me? She likes to get that singular picture that encapsulates, her trip to post, on our social media for the store, talking about self-care and things like that. And so, I do understand why she's always about, getting her photo. Whereas me, it's like, I don't know, when I take photos of myself, I don't think it's like a vanity thing. I think it's like I want to see where my fat content on my face was, because I can tell if I'm losing weight or gaining weight, like on the year, or, clearly for the last few I've been gaining it, but I'm really trying to reverse that. But I digress. She wants to get out, and we get out, and it's cold, and I take, 10 pictures of her by the fountain. She finally sees one she likes. All good. I go inside to check out. I really needn't have stopped there because they're just throw your keys. I thought maybe they would because they hold $100 on your card, till you check out. And I thought maybe the bands were important, or our keys were important, or whatnot. The pool bands I'm talking about. But no, guy's like, no, just throw it there. And so we go back out to the car, get in the car. I pull out onto the street at exactly 5 a.m. and I said, okay, we're doing this with no stops. I had my tea and I had a water from the night before. Yeah, so we had 2 waters from the night before, and I thought, as long as I don't have to go to the bathroom, we can do this without stopping. So from 5 a.m., I drive to my house on Stony Gap Road. I pull into my driveway exactly 2 hours and 59 minutes later. So that means the beach is within 3 hours of us, which is kind of cool, you know. I mean, that's North Myrtle is the jam. That is the nicest, closest beach. There are closer beaches, but that's the one that has all the, you know, the built up development around it and stuff where, you know, you can go and, you know, go to the Ripley's or the whatever attractions that they have. So it's always the one that we kind of target. And so North Myrtle has been kind of it. I do want to go to some other beaches, but, you know, we have the connection with the condo there, and even there's a lot more options with regards to all-inclusive type things where you're in a hotel and you got everything. Like that hotel technically had a Starbucks, a gift shop, and a restaurant. Had we wanted to, we could have stayed in there. And you actually do wind up saving money, particularly on gas. I went down there and back and drove around once or twice somewhere, and I think it was maybe $60 in gas. So that's cool because that has been much higher in the past. You go down there, it takes basically half a tank to go down there, then you spend a half a tank down there, then you got to get another half a tank to come back, you know, so on and so forth. So we did not do that this time. So anyway, there's a lot of options there. The Grand Caymans, and Nancy wants to kind of just start trying out different ones on the occasions we don't stay in the condo so that we can just see what the best experience there is. Now, all that said, I ain't interested in going to the beach in the summertime. Like, we're almost at a point now. I would say we may go back one time in March. We may not. I think we're going to be making a South Carolina trip to Charleston, and I know that would be probably a 3-day thing. So I don't know. We may not get back to North Myrtle until the fall. Now, it's great there in the fall. The fall and the winter, it's really cool because there's not as much stuff to do with Delilah, but like there's less people. You can literally go to the boardwalk and, you know, just have the parking lot to yourself and walk around. And a lot of this stuff's still open, so the restaurants in particular. So it's fun for us, but I'm definitely an off-season kind of guy. I get to the point where there's too many kids running around. Like, I will say this. I walked into the pool area, and as soon as I do, there's two little girls standing, what's a little girl, little boy, standing in the, holding the elevator open for some reason. And she looks at me and she goes, "You got any money?" And I go, "Nope." And I'm carrying Delilah, and I'm like, man, this kid's hitting me up for money. That's crazy. You know, obviously, I don't know. Somebody maybe had given her money. Who knows? I don't even know what she would have spent it on. There was nothing there. There was no drink machines. The gift shop was closed, but I just thought she was just like, hey, dude, it looks like maybe he'll give me $1, whatever. I didn't. But anyway, yeah, it was generally a pretty darn good little mini getaway, I'll call it. But we did manage to get 2 nights in, and all leaving here at 3:00 on Saturday. So we did work a regular day on Saturday. So I think we might try to do that this weekend, not with the beach though, and I don't know where we'll go, but we'll just pop out. I have a performance coming up that I didn't expect to have. They're doing something downtown in Albemarle called Social Saturdays, where every last Saturday of the month in 2023, they're going to endeavor to have live music downtown. Now, it's a volunteer basis, I will say that, so I don't want to talk like hey, this ain't Braden the Music Man Harvard here. I don't have that many gigs, and I typically don't get paid too much. I don't put myself on that level. I put myself as a guy that likes to play his own music, you know. So this is an opportunity to do that, and I had signed up me, Harrison, and Tony to do that every month except for this month because I just found out about it this week. I didn't want to throw something together. But anyway, I guess when they saw that I signed up, they haven't had a big turnout. So they sent me an email and said, "Could you please come play this Saturday?" And, you know, I was like, well, since you asked, yeah, I mean, I guess I could come down there and play the first spot since nobody's in it. I think there's just me and maybe one other guy. And then, of course, I reached out to Rose Burris, who's always looking for a place to play. And I guess I'm going to kind of set her up with my amp and let her play for part of my set. And, you know, they did not have PA arranged. And I feel it's kind of annoying. The town of Albemarle, with regards to music for local musicians, they will either spend, you know, $4,000 or $8,000 and get like a really professional beach band in there with a giant setup and a truck bed for a stage, or it's that, or all volunteers, sign up for yourself and bring all your own gear. And I'm like, hey guys, a back end, you're asking people to come play, especially people that don't probably get typically paid to play. So you're gonna cut out so many people if you don't have that PA available. And the lady that was communicating with me, I did share that. I said, hey, you guys, you need to have a back end down there, like at least a basic PA for the acoustic players to come and sing to. I said, if you do that, you'll have more people that will be willing to volunteer and play. Otherwise, I typically get paid. I get paid something if I'm going to bring my gear out. But, I'm not picky about it because I'm playing mostly my originals. But, I typically do walk away with $80 or $100 every time I play. So, it's something to think about. And she agreed that they probably should do that. And so, yeah. And in addition, hopefully I'm going to get plugged in with the people that do the First Fridays, because I would love to play opening spot out there in the amphitheater at City Lake Park. I don't really know how to get into that, but that would be super fun. They have some amazing bands out there. Now, they do spend the money out there. And I don't really know, like, there's the downtown business group that's putting this on. I don't know exactly who that is. And then there's the downtown development people where Joy Allman runs those. And those can be, a wide range of different kind of promotional things, but anyway, I was happy to be asked. We're not technically downtown, but we're almost downtown. So, and I'm happy to go and be a part of it, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm not as worried about me, Harrison, and Tony, because we can make a loud noise. We'll bring a PA. We can make a loud noise. But with me and my acoustic amp, we'll just see how it goes Saturday. I did ride down there this morning, and I'm on to trying to find ways to eat food but not have anything that I shouldn't have and keep the calories. So this morning for breakfast, I had a chicken fillet with an egg and a slice of tomato and a little packet of hot sauce, 280 calories-ish. And that was pretty good. And it wasn't expensive. It's cheaper, too, if you leave the bread off. So I don't know how much the bread has meant to me in the past, but now if I really want bread, I'm going to have gluten-free, and I'm otherwise just going to take the bread off of anything that I would eat. Chris is on this there's a new technology out now for weight loss, doctor-aided weight loss, and I forget the name of it, but there's a lot about it on Google. So Chris went out. He's trying to do that. I think he's lost 7 pounds in 2 weeks. You get a shot each week. You get an IV every 2 weeks and a couple doctor visits, and $600. So I've said if he loses over 20 pounds, in the month, then I'll consider doing it as well to kind of kick off my new attempt to lose weight. You're hearing about this all the time because it's always on my mind. Don't like to be this heavy, and definitely feeling it in the ankles and knees. Sometimes worse than others, and I think part of that has to do with nutrition. If you're nutritionally deficient, things like your ankle just starts hurting randomly, or your knee just starts aching or whatever. I mean, yeah, weight has something to do with it, but also nutrition has a lot to do with it as well. Nancy and I went out to last Saturday. Delilah came up sick last week, and it wasn't Saturday. It was this Tuesday. No. It was last. What day was it? Let me think about this for a second. It was last Saturday. Nancy and I went out to Our Town Cinema, probably our favorite place to see a movie. It's really the only place she'll go to the movies with me because it's kind of an event. You go out there's not a ton of people, and you get to have these little tables. But it's dinner theater. So we saw Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumanium. Can't say that it was an example of great storytelling, but it sure was fun to watch, and that's really the only reason I went there, just to have a good time. I don't take any Marvel film seriously. But we followed that up with dinner at Sangam Indian, which typically have great food, but I don't know, something about having 8 popcorn beforehand. That rice hit me, and I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good for like the whole next day. I didn't finish my meal, which is unheard of at Indian. And you know what? I even gave the leftovers to Liam. Indian food in particular, chicken tikka masala is my favorite dish, so it's rare that I do that. But I've been eating clean, and when I hit that rice and those carbs hit me, man, it was like wow, it destroyed me. So just trying to focus on the clean eating now, and that's what we'll keep doing, But anyway, I think that's a good long episode 31. Hey, we made it to episode 31. I don't know when we're going to cap this off and call it a season. I don't know if I go to 50, but it feels like I'd probably be lucky to get 50 episodes in a year. But, it feels like a year's worth of content in a weird sort of way. So, that's only 19 away. So maybe we'll hang in there and just call episode 1 the first 50 episodes. And I'm coming up to the renewal of this hosting account, and I have yet to really put out a proper VHS graveyard. I also would like to dabble in a podcast for our business, Albemarle Nutrition, By the way, if you haven't, check out albemarlenutrition.com. We're all about getting that store up to speed, and we do actually have an active store where we sell some of our proprietary products, mostly CBD-based stuff, but check it out. I have a men's multivitamin, a women's multivitamin, and I do take that men's multivitamin every single day. It's a pack of 7 pills that gets all the major highlights that you're supposed to hit. You know, vitamin B, D, fish oil, all that in one single packet, so it's pretty easy. In fact, let me take that right now on the air. Yes, on the air, on the proverbial air, because this, of course, is pre-recorded. Live don't mean a thing to me when you don't have any listeners. This is really more of a cataloging type thing of my activities for myself, and perhaps when I'm gone, someone might want to listen back and see what I was doing on this day. Mom, unfortunately, was feeling poorly yesterday, and we ended up having to take her to the hospital last night. And my daughter, Summer, had just asked me to watch Delilah an extra night this week. And I had said yes, of course, but then when she got there, I had the situation with Mom, so it turned out that Summer ended up taking her to the hospital. So bless you, Summer. I appreciate you doing that. Thank you very much. And hopefully Mom's doing better. I hadn't talked to her this morning yet. She apparently wasn't awake when I called earlier, but I'm going to call her back as soon as I wrap up here. Let me hit these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tablets. Yeah. By the way, it's called Green Earth Naturals Men's Daily Pack, complete with vitamin D, elderberry, zinc, and fish oil. Check that out on albemarlenutrition.com. Get you some of that because it's good stuff. Hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for listening. If you want to know any more about what's happened with me since the last Brentocast, you can definitely cruise on over to brentbowers.com and check it out in the video vlogs or the recent posts in the left-hand navigation. And I will talk to you guys again very soon in episode 32. Brento out.